Good evening, universe. Tonight I'm going to be checking in on the goals that I made at the beginning of this year and seeing how well I did at achieving them. I know the year's not entirely up yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm where I'm going to be at the end of the year for the completion of these goals, if that makes sense. So the first reading goal that I had that I set out for myself at the beginning of this year was to read 35 books in this year. And that I definitely accomplished. I got to about, I think, 50-ish. And some of those were novellas, some of those were manga, so they definitely went by a little bit faster. But that is totally fine with me. They still definitely count as things that I read, and so I definitely achieved this goal. My next goal was to read 5 non-fantasy books, so anything except for fantasy. In retrospect, there were a lot of non-fantasies that I started this year and then DNF'd. So let me think about the ones that I actually finished. We have One of Us is Lying, In a Dark, Dark Wood. Okay, so for this one, I have to look at my notes app where I write down all the books that I read so that I can see if I read 5 or more. So we have In a Dark, Dark Wood, One of Us is Lying. Oh my gosh, did I do it? Did I not? Two Can Keep a Secret, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, and House of Hollow. Okay, so I did do it. That was all of them. I exactly met it. I read those 5 non-fantasies. They were mostly thrillers with one memoir. I found out this year that I do enjoy thrillers. I'm excited to check out some more. I'm in fact looking for another one because I'm going to be going on a trip and I like to read things that aren't fantasy when I'm traveling. I also tried reading some romances, but they really weren't working for me, the ones that I tried. So I went ahead and set them down. I think that had more to do with me being in kind of a reading slump at the moment, though, and less to do with the actual books. So there's one of them for sure that I'm going to pick up again and give another shot to, maybe in the new year, maybe around Valentine's Day. Read something a little bit romantic. But I can still happily say that I completed this goal. Goal 3 was to read Junji Ito, something by Junji Ito, and probably Uzumaki because that's what I was most interested in. Unfortunately, I did not achieve this goal. I started to read Uzumaki. I got like 2 pages in, and I realized that I really wasn't in the mood for a horror, so I went ahead and set it down. And I don't know how I got this information, but it turned out I discovered that snails are important in Uzumaki somehow. And I really love snails. Snails are like my favorite creature. So I really don't want to read anything that has to do with horror and also snails. If they're the villains or whatever that happens in Uzumaki, no snail slander allowed on this channel. So I am not probably going to be reading it at any point. Maybe at some point if I'm feeling more resilient to the snail thing, then I will pick it up, but I can't see myself doing so. So this will not be a goal that I'll be carrying into the new year. Goal number 4 was a little bit more nebulous, so it's going to be hard to say whether I succeeded or not, but the idea was just to buy less books. Read more from my TBR and more from the library. Now, I definitely read way more from the library this year than I have in previous years, and I do think I generally cut back on my book buying. I don't know how many books I bought this year, but I think it was somewhere between 15 and 20, which I think is a little bit less than I usually do. And most of those were ones that I read pretty quickly. They were like manga volumes like Witch Hat Atelier or Lore Olympus, I know I bought this year. And there were a couple that I bought that I haven't gotten to yet. Like I bought Era 2 of Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, but I've got those used, which was also part of my goal. So overall, I am definitely buying fewer new books than I have in previous years. So I count this one as a success. Number 5 was get to 10 or fewer books on my physical TBR. I definitely did not succeed at this goal at all. I still have quite a few books on my physical TBR. I'm not sure how many, but definitely more than 10. So this goal is a failure for sure. I will be bringing this goal forward into the new year. However, I do want to get to 10 or fewer by the end of 2023. That is still the goal, the dream. Gonna do it. Goal 6 was to finish Mistborn Era 1 by Brandon Sanderson. This I achieved. It's a pretty straightforward goal because it only required me to read 2 books. So it was pretty easy and enjoyable. I am really glad that I did this one. And I'm definitely going to be checking out some other works by Brandon Sanderson, as is probably obvious by the fact that I bought Era 2. So this one, success. And goal number 7, my last goal, was to start the Wheel of Time series to see if I was interested in it. I did not achieve this goal. I never ended up picking it up. I thought about it several times, about going to the library and picking up Eye of the World. I think I even saw it on a shelf in the library at one point, and I was like, no, because I just wasn't ready to start such a big series. It's still a little bit intimidating, and I don't know anymore if I'm as excited about pursuing it. I think I'm more excited about the prospect of reducing my physical TBR and checking out some other new releases that will be coming out in the new year. So this is a maybe carry it forward into the new year. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with all of the reading that I did this year and how well I did with my goals. I achieved a lot of what I set out to, and overall, I'm pretty pleased. So let me know down below how your reading goals went this year, if you made any goals, if you achieved those, if not. Like I said, I didn't meet all of them, obviously, but I'm still really happy with my reading overall this entire year, and I hope you were too. Either way, thanks for hanging out with me, and I hope you have a beautiful night, universe.